This is me.
Meaning never gonna live how you decide. IDENTIFY. I'm gonna make my own meaning. Never gonna live how you decide. Yo, you can't put me in a fucking box. Dudes know I run these streets like the locks. Sophomore effort, I'm hotter than the desert. You gotta take the pain to appreciate the pleasure. My words are like keys to a treasure. Sever all ties if they think they can do it better. Yeah, man, whatever. Cry me a river. Two-spirit MC, you Indian giver. Stand and deliver, heat wave in the winter. Constant annoyance like a motherfucking splinter.
Kevin's amazing. What I like about Kevin is he is not afraid. He is not afraid to be different than everybody else, no matter what.
Originally from Cleveland, he's in the Twin Cities, trying to make a name for himself. So I want y'all to put your hands together and give some love to Jada!
What up, y'all? What up, y'all? My name is Kaoz, and I'm a gay-ass rapper. Ha! Let's go. Yo. Hey. Check. Free play from the beat. Fight. Free play from the beat now. Chaos from the heat, yo. Check it out, yo. Hey. Crossed up. GPS on the lost fuck. Into the house, get crossed up. Songs in my mouth, I'm crossed up. Get my sauce nuts. 20 ready to I'm lost, but strong boss. Kanye shrug, lost. Give a fuck what we all keep crossing. Like that reckless, Ryan Dawson, Pentagon, Geico, Psycho, Frank Ocean, George Michael. Might bring it to the phone with a mic.
Kevin?
Down one more.
Okay.
Down one more. Hi.
Hi.
Down one more. Yeah, you doing that? Sure.
Yeah. Hi. Kevin, this is a really good spot, so I'm just going to get you started.
It's your boy Kevin Kaoz Moore, or Kaoz. I am a native of Cleveland, Ohio, aka the Mistake on the Lake. When I was, a little kid, and I was in elementary school, I think the first artistic thing that I ever did was a play. And I actually played the part of Dr. Martin Luther King in like a Black History Month kind of thing or whatever, and I had to recite a part of the I Have a Dream speech, and this was like when I was maybe in the 4th grade or something. In the 6th grade, I began to write rhymes and stuff. I wouldn't say, no one really encouraged me to go down the path of like hip hop. I kind of brought that on myself. But my parents did. They definitely encouraged me to write and to do poetry, because I think at that time they didn't know the similarity between the two. My urban studies teacher took the class out on a field trip. We went down to Cleveland State University to watch this performance by the Black Poetic Society. They were so articulate, they were so passionate, and it was like all the elements of acting, were present within their performances. And so like I remember turning to my teacher and saying, hey, this is what I want to do when I grow up. Like, this is the perfect like marriage of all the things that I grew up, having a passion for, the acting, the writing, all that. And it seemed like it would be a comfortable place for me to explore stuff, or to explore issues such as, GLBT issues, or, issues about HIV, or issues about sexuality, period. Because it just seemed like, nothing was kind of off limits there, you know what I mean? And it was palatable, Mm-hmm. It's like some people, some people, if they heard it on a song, or heard about gay issues or something on a song, it might not have been appealing to them. It just didn't help with their groove. But hearing it in a spoken word piece, not necessarily in a rhythm, but just as a part of like this other thing that has all these other elements, it seemed like it was digested a little, easier by the public. So one of the first poems that I did in this, in an open mic setting was about, being gay. It was a poem called Mad at Me, actually. And
do you know it at all?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, stop crying. I don't want you around me either, quiet as it's kept. I didn't tell you that I had to tell you everything. Oh, so now you feel I'm a conniver? I don't give a damn that you snicker at my homies. or the fact that they're dressed alike. But for so many of these hardcore fellas to hate fags so much, they always have the hots for dykes or three-lays, melees of that sort. See, you need to think of what the next person's thinking when you're playing your sports. I'm calling you dirty because you are what you eat, and I wasn't put here to covet your feet, nor live in your life, nor stand in those shoes. So shut that shit up, because this is who I am. Hey, at least I'm not out hoeing with the fellas just to take my rep up a few notches, refusing to wear my condiment, putting my face up in different crotches, and being the real whore just to trip for some watches. Now watch this. And watch out for what some of those smart folks call that gay disease. Just to let you know, you need to check up on how your little brother gets pleased, and your cousin, your sister, your barber, and the kid that smokes weed with you on your work breaks. That may be a little too much to handle. Hold the candle to reality, and you will see that it ain't everything that you might always want it to be, but who are you or I to say what should make the next person happy? Don't speak about what you know nothing about. The path that you take works for you, but individuals have their own route. I'll take that. Or can you take it at all? And being the big man around town don't necessarily mean that you got the biggest balls, dog. Word. Hurts, don't it? I even used to holler at your girlfriend, and even she said she wanted. And so do you once you look back upon it. That's why you're mad at me. And the reception that I got after I did that, I think I went off into the corner and kind of cried a little bit, and then came back out like, all personal. But yeah, it was like after I did that, you know what I mean? And I didn't know where the crowd was going to go with it. I didn't know how they were going to receive it, but just my spirit had told me, you've got to read this tonight, this first time. They have to know who you are. The first time I did anything kind of gay was when I was in kindergarten. But I don't think that I connected it to sex. You know what I'm saying? It was more like a curiosity thing. I was like, damn, what is this I'm feeling? And then there was this one guy that I was, we bumped heads all the time. It was like if he wasn't the class president, I had to be the class president. You know what I mean? It was that kind of like thing. And his name was Marvin Watson. If he sees this, oh my God. His name is Marvin Watson. I think he's straight, but I don't know. He was like really tall, had the biggest Dumbo ears ever. But there was just something about him that I couldn't stand him, but it was like I wanted to be around him. I wanted to see him. I wanted us to be friends, even though we couldn't get along. I came out to my mother kind of at an early age, like around 16, I think. Because I was tired of lying about, who was calling the house and all these new names. And they're like, okay, you didn't go to school with him. He just stay around. Who's Deontay? Like, Mom, he's this guy. And my mother, the first thing she said, because I'm crying, I'm just crying, bawling, telling her. And she's like, why are you crying? She said, you're still my son. I love you. She said, we knew there was something special about you. We didn't know what it was, but we just knew there was something about you that was special. Now as an adult, I identify myself as a same-gender loving male. A lot of people don't like that term, but I think it's perfect because it describes me. That's who I am. I don't feel like I'm queer because, queer is I always thought of that as like meaning strange, or I think that is the technical definition for it, you know what I mean? And I don't think that anything about my sexuality is strange. And that's just one of those words that I haven't been able to bring myself to reclaim. But, I understand everyone else's comfortability with it, you know what I mean? And I'm okay with that.
I probably became aware of my sexual identity somewhere in middle school. And I don't think that I knew what to call it, but I knew that I didn't feel the same way as the other girls did. It's not to say that I never wanted to date little boys or that I found men attractive, but I definitely had stronger connections with women. And I was really afraid to talk about that. And there was really no outreach. There wasn't, the guidance counselor was a man. I certainly wasn't going to go to him with some of my questions. And I just stuffed it. And I became, the all-American sports person. I played volleyball. I played college volleyball. I had a great time growing up there. So we are coming into Clayton. Now this is the one-horse town that I grew up in from 2nd grade until I graduated from high school. And if you blink, you'll miss it, truly. So So we're at my high school, Clayton High School. Oh, they got some. So we're at Clayton High School, my high school. It's a K through 12 school in Clayton, Wisconsin. Population 545, I think. So if we look here on down this one street that we have, going down Main Street. That white church there is the church that I was confirmed at, the church my children were baptized in. And this is Main Street. This is it. One street. And as we travel down, there's now a hair salon, which is new, and 2 bars. So what more do you need in a town? And I just came back to my class reunion last summer. And I really didn't I wanted to, but I didn't because I hadn't been back since I think my coming out was so marred with Joe's death that things were really blurry for a lot of people and really emotional and weird. Like it was really hard. People didn't really know what to say. I did just get on my Facebook. Somebody posted, when I posted something about gay marriage, one person from this town said, "Oh, you're happy about that? Being gay is what killed your beautiful husband." And I blocked her and erased her, and that really hurt. But other than that person, everyone was so supportive. I was so glad I came. Everybody was so nice. I sat in my car kind of shaking and I'm like, "Sarah, why are you afraid to go see people that you grew up with for 20 years, you know?" And we had a good time, and nobody was weird. And again, that's where I think sometimes you judge small people or small towns oh, they're not going to understand or they're not going to get it. And everybody was super cool. So I'm so glad that I did that. It was awesome.
All right. Did anyone at your reunion know you were a comedian?
Yeah, pretty much everyone. Actually, that was the funny part because I remember I walked into Charlie's bar and I heard somebody whisper to their spouse who I didn't know "She's the comedian." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny." I almost kind of felt like a celebrity because people know I am because of Facebook. I haven't done anything back here, but everyone was so interested about it and thought it was so cool and "We want to come up to the cities and see one of your shows." I'm like, "Oh my God, I would love that. That would be so much fun." I think they'd be shocked a little bit because they haven't really, the last these people really had too much connection with me was I was a young mother in town and I was on the board of community education and I was selling concessions and I was just like everyone else, working at the casino, raising their family, waiting every Friday for paychecks. But I think they would really like it. Then Shannon hooked us up with MAYDA. And we had emailed a little bit and then we just had coffee and we talked for 2 hours just about ourselves and our life and what I wanted to do with the movie. And I'm sure I ended up crying about something because I always seem to cry about something. Oh. The first song I heard of hers was Stereotype and I totally got hooked on it. I just loved it. I love that funk kind of sound she has. It's so needed in the world today, I think. We can't have enough of that.
I like to write soul music. Just honest soul music and fun music. Music that's gonna move you and make you think positive thoughts. Yeah. My world is on stage.
How do you feel when you're on stage performing?
Amazing. It's like being on drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's just my analogy of performing. And that's why I love it and I'm addicted to it. Send me to Hazelton for wanting to be on stage because that's what I am addicted to, is performing. And and trying to be with people who perform and trying to perform for people who love it and trying to make people laugh and trying to make people smile and trying to make people, you know, happy. Like, that's my addiction. And trying to make people want to be healthy through music or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, it sounds stupid.
No.
But, sorry. Guilty as charged. Throw me in a psych ward. That's what I'm addicted to.
Nightingale speak, nightingale fly, nightingale sing me a lullaby. Nightingale get me high, tell me everything is alright. Nightingale speak, nightingale fly, nightingale sing me a lullaby. Nightingale get me high, tell me the world will be alright.
You know, it's funny because, like, I've never identified with any, like, sexual preferences. Like, I've never been like, yes, I am straight. Or I've never, you know, declared anything.
Some things can never be changed. Things just can't stay the same. It's driving you insane. Nightingale speak, nightingale fly.
But in my mind, I've always questioned. And I've been married. And I've definitely had relationships with guys. But I've always been, you know, attracted to anybody. The queer community here in the Twin Cities have just, like, been so open and welcoming.